Welcome to Haunt Weekly.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And this is Haunt Weekly, a weekly podcast for the haunted attraction, haunted entertainment community. Whether you're an actor, owner, or just plain aficionado, we aim to be a podcast for you. And we return to you on this Monday with episode 320. Divisible by 4, that means it's time to do the news. We're only 100 away from episode 420.
I know.
So anyways, definitely, going to be honest with y'all. Light news week.
Yeah, very.
Very light news period. In fact, unusually light, even for right about now.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, we're in that weird time of the year. We've talked about this from years gone by, where we're before Halloween Horror Night starts making announcements.
Yeah,
and once
a few months out from now.
Yeah, exactly. They usually start doing it like sometime in March.
Yeah.
They'll announce like a drip feed of them like once per month. But once they start making announcements, other haunts start making announcements too. And start trying to get some top of mind awareness early. So we do not have a lot of haunted attraction news, but we're still going to cover all the news that's fit to print this week. And in the meantime, definitely take a moment and follow us at all the usual locations. You can find us at hauntweekly.com, Haunt Weekly on Twitter, Haunt Weekly on Facebook. That is also where you check out for any live events and live recordings we're going to do. They will be on Facebook Live. That's facebook.com/hauntweekly. YouTube.com/hauntweekly is our YouTube channel. That is the easiest way to find a previous episode. When we throw out the, hey, on episode blah, 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 we talked about it. That'll be the place to go check it out, definitely. It's our archive. It's the greatest place to go find our old episodes. You can also find us at Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from. All right, so a little bit of housekeeping news. Last episode, we mentioned we thought we had come down with a breakthrough case of COVID.
Yeah, there was possible exposure.
There was legitimate and understandable concern of exposure, combined with cold and symptoms that lined up perfectly with what people say is common with Omicron. Basically,
Right.
It was very frustrating fatigue.
Yeah.
The kind of fatigue where I think we all experience like the same thing, where it's like you wake up, you feel good, do stuff. 2 hours later, bonk.
Yeah.
It's like somebody just conked you on the back of the head and you're out.
Exactly.
And it's so weird because it's like, go stop. The whole, like we probably slept 16 hours that Saturday. And it was like in 4 hour increments.
Yeah.
It was the weirdest sleep schedule I have ever maintained in my life. But it turns out we were not COVID positive.
No.
In spite of like 90% of New Orleans testing positive for COVID that weekend, we did not. Had PCR tests cleared us. We did not have COVID. And now what that means is we do not know if we have ever had COVID.
Yeah. We don't think we have.
But then again, so many of the cases have been fully asymptomatic.
Right.
And there's enough chronic conditions in this house.
Yeah.
Like, okay, one of the first symptoms is cough. Great. I have GI issues at the yin-yang.
Yeah.
And I have a deviated septum, which causes sinus trouble and a cough. Thanks. I know I'm always sniffling.
Yeah, I've got some allergies going.
Oh, yeah. And you have not just seasonal allergies. You have a general allergy to certain types of trees. Which, surprise, are really fucking popular in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So, you know, who knows? Who really knows what, if we've had it or not? But it's such a weird mix of emotions to get that negative back. Because I think we had all mentally prepared ourselves for the positive result, and then it just didn't. It's a very weird confluence. I'm sure others out there can understand and identify with that. You feel bad about feeling angry. It was negative. You feel it's a weird set of emotions. At least it was for me. So anyways, not COVID. Apparently just maybe it was a breakthrough flu. We're all flu vaccinated too. So it could have been breakthrough flu. And if so, I mean, if it was flu or COVID, either way, we came out pretty well.
Yeah, it was mild. 1
day of fatigue and a little bit of annoyance, and then 5 days of quarantine that was not necessary, apparently. Because we would have not had that many days of quarantine if it had been able to get the results back sooner.
Yeah, that was the most frustrating part. Is it took forever to get the results back.
Yeah, they said 1 to 3 days.
Yeah, test happened midday Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Got the test back Wednesday.
And by Wednesday, we mean super late Wednesday night.
Wednesday morning.
Oh, it was early Wednesday morning. So it was late Tuesday night, Wednesday morning.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know exactly when because we were fucking asleep.
Mm-hmm.
So don't ask me what time it was. Ass crack of night is when it was. All right. But anyways, so let's move on to looking at last week's question of the week. We got incredibly good answers on this one. I'm very excited. We're going to spend some time here because this was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love it when a question of the week takes off like this and like people are really getting involved in the conversation. This was just so good. Last week's question was, what was a time a haunt genuinely surprised you? And I didn't say scare. Didn't say startle.
No.
I said surprise because surprise can take on a lot of different forms. And a lot of y'all picked up on that. Mm-hmm. Sam Farrell said Netherworld was a genuine surprise. And he sort of said, if you know, you know. And I'm like, okay, I went to Netherworld last year at their old location. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I don't know because I can literally think of like half a dozen things that could be the you know on that. I think I know what he's talking about because I know what I would say was the big shocker.
I think it's just the overwhelming size and complexity of it. Yeah,
and the amazing variety of stuff in it. Mm-hmm. Like it's definitely that style. Home 13th Gate does it too, where one scene may not necessarily have anything to do with the next scene.
Right.
It's very much the old Spook House style, where you have some, you know what I mean, where you have every room is different, every scene is different. Mm-hmm. But there's so much variety there. It was such an incredible experience. Netherworld. They also mentioned a local charity haunt that he could not remember the name of, that used large open spaces instead of tiny rooms.
Yeah.
And I love this idea.
Yeah.
If it were ever practical.
Yes, you're talking about using this at some point in the future for our haunt, not whenever we get to finally open the one that's been done. No. But
1 year, just I get to go crazy and do all prop based layout, no panels, make it a completely open space, and
that'll be fun.
It'll be a challenge, but the thing he mentioned was that like every tiny sound echoed and was eerie, and that was one of the things I didn't think about with prop based layout was when you embiggen your spaces. You change the sound profile drastically. Right. Like, we're so used to doing claustrophobic small rooms, because that's what we've always done. I mean, we only have 650 square feet, so we're working with 5 very, very small rooms. Yeah. Sound profile is very simple. You know, you can do different things in each room, because you just got to keep the volume at the right. It's more about finding the volume. But here, when you have a big enough space, it's going to be frustrating if you're trying to do different sound effects and different styles in each room. But you can, like he was talking about, play with it and do echoes and make it very unsettling. Yeah. Because, I mean, if you've ever walked in like a giant hangar or something that's empty, it's a very unsettling feeling to me. Ryan Greger threw out the 13th Gate Mammoth. I got to admit, I've been to the 13th Gate so many times, I'm just like, of course they got a fucking mammoth. What'd you expect? And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that's right.
Yeah, the first time we saw it, it was pretty impressive, because we're around that corner, and there's just a giant mammoth.
Giant farting mammoth. Don't forget farting. Don't forget farting.
I know.
Farting is very important to the adjective list for this mammoth.
I know. I'm usually the one that
farts on.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. You have the luck of my mom on a water ride. Because we were in one of those rides with like the circular thing going down, like the rapids rides. Every time it was under a waterfall, it was her seat under the waterfall. Just every fucking time. It's like,
did your dad twist it on purpose?
No, we had no control. The theory we had was, by this point, me and my brother were basically the size we are now. We were late teens. Mid to late teens, so we were basically the size we are now. We both.
So hers was the lighter side.
Hers was the lighter side. I think it was just tilting to the lighter side because she weighs like 90 pounds soaking wet. She's like,
well, you would know after that ride.
Anyways, yes, you have the luck with mammoth farts my mom has with waterfalls.
Yes.
When she wasn't chasing them.
Yeah. Chris Gay said the Bates Motel praying mantis monster, which sounds awesome.
Yeah, apparently it was a really cool articulated costume.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't see where the person was on it.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. I've seen some costumes like that, but I've always been able to tell where the person is very easily in them. Even the big, like, frame ones that come out, you're still able to see and figure it out pretty quickly what's going on. So that sounds amazing. Lindsay Bacon. Hell's Dungeon had a killer robot at the ending. You know what, Hell's Dungeon? Good on you.
Yeah. I hope it looked like the ones from the 50s that we've been watching on MST3K.
Yeah.
The oversized head and the clunky, almost human, but not really.
Yeah, Uncanny Valley as fuck, Mont. Yeah. And here's the thing. It's like, Hell's Dungeon's like, we'll see, we got a hallway at the end. What are we going to do with it? Well, everyone else does chainsaws, but if you go to 2 haunts in a year, you're going to see the same ending, probably.
Yeah.
So we'll just have a big fucking killer robot there.
Yeah, exactly.
I approve.
I do too.
I approve.
Sandy Kimball said House of Shock in the 90s.
Yeah, we never got to see it in the 90s.
No.
We got to see it early 2000s. I can't remember if it was 2002 or 3. I think it was 3. We got to see it 2003 and I think 2004 we did. We got to see him pre-Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah, and then, of course, after.
And then after, we saw them lots. Yeah. And I'll say this, it was a very different show pre-Katrina. So, yeah. Ty Rally, the Dragon and Nightmare on 13th, or their Dark Scene ride. Sounds really freaky. Dark ride scenes, sorry. Dark scenes, right? Dark ride scenes. That sounds like a lot of fun to me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Jerry Ferraccio, a haunt advertised as professional, and then it wasn't.
We were aiming for positive surprises, but I can see why that was a huge surprise.
Well, negatives are important surprises too.
I do agree, and we have had our share of negative surprises.
Yeah.
I agree with that. That is a surprise.
We've been there a few times.
Yeah, it really sucks when the marketing is on point and really pitching it as this amazing thing, and the ticket price indicates it's going to be this big professional shindig, and then it's not, and that just completely and totally sucks. I agree, though. Brian Barnes, Scaremare Haunt. He just went into great detail in this. It's a great comment to read, actually. But he talked about how it's in the middle of nowhere. It's very similar to Hell's Gate, and that you have to park somewhere else and catch a shuttle out to it. But when you get there, they have an honest-to-God plane crash on site.
Wow.
I gotta say, if I saw a plane crash at home, I'd be fucking surprised, too.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
That would be a surprise. I have to completely agree with that. I have seen automobile crashes. I have seen bus crashes, but never a plane crash.
No.
So very cool. That does sound like a lot of fun.
And finally, Kevin.
I can never say his last name no matter how. And he always writes, and he's so great to us. I know. We need to take a course in saying his last name.
Yeah. Said Evil Intentions, different tracks for different nights. So that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, and I'm like of two minds on this. On one, I feel like you cut your haunt in half.
Yeah.
When you do that. You literally cut your haunt in half, because now you have only half the length. But if you can advertise it and promote it, and indicate that you don't know which track you're doing or what the path you're going to take is.
Right.
You might be able to encourage repeat customers, which is something haunts don't typically get.
Right. Well, and I think that if you bought like a pass that gave you all of the options, and then, like a punch card. Yeah. You do one path, you get that punch, and then you can come back another night. Yeah. And get it. And so that way make sure you're not repeating the same path.
Yeah, and you do like A nights and B nights, we'll say. Yeah. And so you do like a block scheduling thing where it's like A, B, or ABB or whatever.
Exactly.
And just encourage them to come back on a B night and get the B punch.
Exactly.
I can see that as a lot of fun. And that might be, and getting them back twice might be really, really cool if you have a lot of on-site stuff that you're selling and using to make money. If you have a really good snack bar, gift shop, etc. You have really cool stuff on site, because that way, not only are you selling 2 tickets, or even if you're not selling 2 tickets, if you're selling like 1.5 tickets, we'll say punch card's a deal, right? It's got to be a deal. So it's 1.5 tickets. You're selling 1.5 tickets, and you're getting 2 bites at the apple and trying to get this person to spend money on site.
No.
Just a thought. All right. Well, that brings us to this week's question of the week. This comes from a friend of ours.
Yes.
Shalisa Muehlberger, listener, friend.
Yeah.
Amazing human being all around.
Mm-hmm.
And her husband too, Derek. Mm-hmm. Yes. Asks the question: what is the weird thing you can't help yourself from collecting?
Yes, this came up in a chat the other day that we're all on, and hers was milk caps. Because they use them for, buttons or gears or things like that, is what she was explaining.
Yeah, because she does a lot of craftsy stuff. Mm-hmm. Her and her husband both actually do a lot of amazing...
but for the haunt, too,
Yeah. Well, no, they do a lot of crafty-related stuff for the haunt. Yeah. And they do costume work. They do models. They do designs and things like that. They do a lot of neat stuff. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, milk bottle caps. What would be our thing?
Well, for me, I have a tendency to collect railings. Whenever I see people remodeling their houses and they have railings, I will go and scoop them up. We've only used railings a couple of times in our haunt, and not in the past 7 years, but I can't resist them.
Well, we also, you can't resist, I can resist them fine, can't resist large picture or mirror frames.
Yeah.
Very ornate, large picture mirror frames.
Are you talking about the 6 foot tall one that I've got?
That is one of the ones I'm talking about, yes. But that is just one of the ones I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If it's an ornate, carved mirror/picture frame, because the one she's talking about is a 6 foot mirror frame where the mirror's long gone.
Yeah.
So there's nothing in there, it's just an opening. But it's very, very ornate and pretty, and once beautiful. It's repainted, the coloring is pretty naff right now.
Yeah, they were trying to learn a new painting technique, is what she told me, because I saw this at a garage sale, and then I saw it at the trash a few days after the garage sale.
Yeah, which was hilarious, because you're like, okay, we'll pay, how much do you want for it? And she wanted some
she wanted $65 or something. I don't know.
For a mirror, just a mirror frame, once again. Yeah, it's big, but it's just the frame.
Yeah.
There's nothing in it. No picture, no mirror, nothing. It's just an empty hole. It's basically an ornate donut.
Mm-hmm. Basically, yeah.
But oval shaped. And so we're like, we didn't have that kind of cash on us. Mm-hmm. We weren't about to go to the bank and withdraw it, and we really weren't looking to spend that much at this garage sale. Mm-hmm. And then, sure enough, 3 days later, trash day, bulk trash day. Yep. There it is at the curb. It's literally walking home with us.
Yeah.
Because it couldn't fit in any. We didn't have the truck, so it couldn't fit in any car we had.
No.
But yeah, so that. I think those are our big weaknesses, though. Oh, also, I cannot stop collecting vinyl siding would be my weakness.
Well, and also, I think for you, computer cords.
Oh, that is true.
And eventually I found a way to work them in.
Yeah, that is, electronics in general.
Yeah.
I think is my badness. Because I definitely hang on to electronics. Like, I know I have every security camera we have ever attempted to use in this, and we got to use them.
Yeah.
As part of a scene, because it's really creepy having like a fucking 100 security cameras pointed at you.
Right.
So every security camera I've ever used, every wire, every connector, and yeah, I mean, I've gotten better. Mm-hmm. I have gotten much better. It used to be, I used to have a full laundry hamper.
Yes.
Of nothing but computer cords.
Yeah.
And I had shit in there that has not been connected to a computer probably since the early 90s.
Yeah.
Like those giant printer cables. I'm not talking parallel port. Uh-huh. I'm talking pre-parallel port, the giant mammoth honking things that connect to the printers. Uh-huh. I had those. Mm-hmm. And now everything's all USB-ified and... Mm-hmm. So yeah, you're probably right about that. All right. Well, this is an even number episode, so we do have to do our usual routine and go over our conference reminders. Crystal, would you like to do the honors?
Sure. Fear Expo Live is January 21st through the 23rd in Owensboro, Kentucky, at the Owensboro Convention Center. It features a trade show, an overnight haunt tour, and Friday after party. FearExpoLive.com for more info, and we will be talking about them more in just a minute.
Yes, we will. Next up after that is Haunt X, the DIY Haunters and Halloween Expo, February 19th through the 20th in Pomona, California, the Fairplex Building 9, featuring an asylum costume party on the Saturday, the 29th. HauntX.com for more details.
Okay, March 17th through the 20th. It's Transworld's Halloween and Attraction Show in St. Louis, Missouri at the America Center, co-located with Transworld's Christmas Show and Room Escape. Check out HAAShow.com for any info on the event.
Yeah, I know people in, I think, Haunters Hangout were saying that they had not seen much announcements about it and they were getting antsy. So, yeah, it seems like there's, so I don't want to say there's unrest, but there seems to be some concern in the group about that because they have not made any major announcements about their events. And I would love to share those announcements with you.
Yeah, and we will once we find them.
Yes, we will. Okay, after that, it's the West Coast Haunters Convention, May 13th through the 15th in Portland, Oregon, at the DoubleTree Hotel, Portland. Organization is for a nonprofit that donates to professionals that work with autism. Has 2 great-looking parties, a costume contest, and on the last day of the trade show floor, a foam dartboard. They have set aside 5 minutes toward the end of the last day, it looks like, for a foam dartboard. Sounds awesome. HauntersConvention.com for more information.
Okay, and finally, July 29th through the 31st in Savannah, Georgia. It is the Southeast Hollows Haunt Convention. You can find out more about that at SEHHC.com as details become available.
Okay, it looks like a lot of neat stuff is coming up. Well, as we said in the beginning, this is not the most dense news episode we've had.
Correct.
And it's partly because we're doing this in January. We're in that weird season where we know all the news from haunt season that's happened, including the Christmas shows. And
there was only one announcement that I found for a Valentine's Day show.
I think with Omicron surging, that seems doubly risky.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the fears. But on that note, so it's not the densest news episode. We're going to be covering some fun stuff here, and we're going to be talking about a few things that are tangential, but still pretty interesting.
Yeah, I don't think that there was anything that's sad this time.
No.
Everything was positive.
Yeah, everything was positive. Minus, there were some concerns in the first article we'll get into. But the overall message was still positive.
But no shootings or assaults
good God, no.
or updates on shootings or assaults.
You need to get busy.
or deaths or anything like that. So
yes. Well,
so comparatively positive.
Yes, indeed, and I will take it. All right. Well, our first story this week involves something we just briefly mentioned. This is an article from the Messenger Inquirer. It's Keith Lawrence is the author. Fear Expo Live coming to the Owensboro Convention Center next week. Neat little, I guess I don't want to call it a fluff piece. It's not quite true, but neat little coverage of the upcoming Fear Expo Live event. This is their first in-person event. There are concerns, now, and this is from the organizers, I should say.
Yeah. They're
sharing some concerns for low attendance due to a snowstorm that is happening like now. And an increased cases of COVID-19, which are happening now. Though we are probably past the immediate peak at the very least. God, I hope so. It sure seemed like 90% of New Orleans had it.
I hope we're getting past it, yeah.
Anyways, but this is by the organizer's Doug Sheldon, who owns a 50,000 square foot haunted attraction in Grand Rapids, Michigan. He's the organizer of the show, and he's opened up the floor for vendors to have a 10 by 10 booth for free. So someone like us that look, we don't make money from this.
No.
We lose money on this, and we're fine with that. But yeah, that means we need $600 for a trade show booth?
It's not going to happen.
Not going to happen, dude. Sorry. This isn't our livelihood. This is an avocation supreme.
Yeah.
Not a vocation. This is probably as big or bigger of an avocation as the haunt. at this point. But anyways, so that's neat. They're expecting 1,000 visitors for this first year of the conference. And they're offering a variety of classes and hands-on workshop. And in addition to the vendor showcase floor, there'll also be haunt tours, a costume ball, a concert, a costume fashion show, and a Friday night after party. And some of the workshops include, I thought this was interesting, a leather muzzle workshop.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I know my haunters would want to go to that workshop.
Uh-huh.
But I also have a lot of other non-haunter friends I think would be very interested in that workshop for very different reasons. Or maybe the same reasons. I'm not here to judge anyone. And the second one I was interested in was big scares with bad actors. Now, I don't like the term bad actor. I think every actor can be good if they're used correctly and used well.
Right, and I think that that's what this is really going to focus on.
And I think that's what this is actually about. Mm-hmm. But hey, we all have had that actor who is an amazing person backstage. They always show up. They have a positive attitude. Mm-hmm. They really do give the haunt a boost. But they struggle in room. They struggle in role. Mm-hmm. We all have someone like that. We've all seen someone like that. But we love them and we need them because they are a true great force. This is about finding ways to do scares with them. Mm-hmm. And that's great because, I think, and we were discussing this with Japes, one of the times, is like you can teach actors what to say. You can teach actors how to move. You can teach actors a lot of things.
Right.
But you can't teach timing.
No. Yeah.
Timing is pretty much something you either got or you ain't got.
Yeah. Yeah, you can make up cues that'll help with timing, but it's really hard for someone to learn how to do timing correctly.
The timing is frustrating because even if you automate it or give cues or do whatever, it still doesn't always guarantee the timing will be good. Mm-hmm. Because maybe their reflexes are just a little slow, maybe, maybe they have a degree of uncertainty, but even
maybe they're brand new,
or maybe they're brand new. But yeah, we've all had actors with those types of issues, so that would be something I'd be interested in. Where do you put the people that you're struggling to give a good position to? Mm-hmm. But I do genuinely believe every actor can be good if they're used well, as long as they are not a cancerous actor or a toxic actor,
right?
Someone that actively is harming your backstage culture and ruining that element of the haunt. As long as they're not that, you can probably find a way to use them. And that's what this is about. And I think that's cool. Mm-hmm. So yeah, no, this is interesting. Now I know Fear Expo Live did not get off to the most glorious start. Mm-hmm. I know they did a virtual event in 2020. Mm-hmm. Or was it 2021? I think it was 2021.
Yeah.
And it did not go over well.
Right.
I did not see glowing things about it. There was a lot of frustrations and concerns. But maybe the live event will work out better because in many ways this is going to sound strange and stupid, but in many ways it's easier to do a live event than a virtual one.
Well, and it's really hard to learn how to do events effectively for your first year.
Yeah.
And switch it from a live to a virtual.
Yeah. I would not want my first major event to be a virtual one ever.
No.
That's just too much. It's too tough. And the technology, even, you would think, like with 2 years of COVID, virtual event technology would be like, woo! Be like way up there. It's not.
No.
The technology is still not good.
Yeah, I think I use it the most.
Yeah,
out of us in the house.
Absolutely. Because Ellie does phone meetings still. She does basically teleconferences the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, and I set up a lot of Zoom stuff.
And do a lot of virtual classrooms and meetings and things like that. So yeah,
presentations.
You definitely do more of that than anyone else. I participate in a fair amount of them, but I absolutely would not want that. So I'm hoping this is a big success. I definitely would like. They seem very ambitious. They said in the article they had more than 71 vendors, which I think that's really cool. And
and that was as of
December, I think.
Yeah, December or November.
So that number has gone up. Yeah, by early December they had 71 vendors.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is neat. We're hoping the conference goes well. Everyone stays safe, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
All right, moving right along.
All right. The Kiwanis Noon Club has raised over $43,000 for local groups. And this is from Bullhead City, Arizona.
Bullhead City, I'm sorry.
And it's an article by Fred Mason at the Mojave Daily News.
Yes.
So
what are we going to name our town? Bullhead City. Doesn't matter if it's not really a city and not really many.
Okay, we have West Wego here.
I know.
Because they went west from the city. I don't know if that's the actual story of the town.
It is west of New Orleans, and that's literally what everyone at least thinks the story is. West we go.
Yeah, exactly.
Except it's one word. It's
stupid.
If you find yourself in West we go, don't.
Yeah, leave quickly.
Move right along.
Yeah. Students at the Academy of Building Industries High School beamed as they posed with a check for $4,000 that was presented by the Kiwanis of the Colorado River Noon Club. They helped construct and tear down a 10,000 square foot scream-in-the-dark custom-made haunted house as part of the annual Cornfest.
One word, Cornfest.
Yes, that's held in late October.
One word, 8 letters, Cornfest.
Yeah. So I thought this was really interesting because they had 20 schools participating.
Yeah. Schools
and organizations and charities that participated to put on this huge event that had multiple haunted houses and it
was a whole festival.
Yeah. No, I mean, and the article goes into a more comprehensive breakdown of where all of the money is going.
Yeah.
It actually looks like a report for a grant.
Yeah, it does. But
having done some recently.
But the thing that's interesting about it to me is they all came together to do this. And they raised, $43,000 may not seem like a lot of money.
No.
But it absolutely can be, especially in a small town like this.
Exactly. In a small
then
community.
They distributed it to what looks like dozens and over a dozen different organizations.
Yeah.
And each of those organizations may only be receiving $1,000 or $2,000 or something.
Mm-hmm.
But for those types of organizations, that money is often a huge deal.
Yeah.
These are small groups trying to do a lot with very little. So a $2,000 donation can make a huge difference in their effort.
Yeah, I think this is a great idea.
Yeah.
Like, I'm wondering why more areas don't try to do something like this, where they bring in anybody who wants to participate.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that it makes a ton of sense. Because rather than every organization putting on a different event.
Yeah, and having to pay all of the cost up front yourself.
Yeah. Why not combine the resources, combine the energy, build one giant thing that may have a better shot of attracting people from outside the area?
Mm-hmm.
And
if we're going to a new area and we see, hey, there's this festival with lots of things to do, or one thing to do, we're going to go to the lots of things to do.
Yeah. And one of the things... We've talked about it before on the podcast. Like I said, I don't know how large this town is really, but it seems like a small town. People in cities rarely travel to small towns without a good reason. Mm-hmm. And so because people from rural areas will go into cities apropos of nothing.
Right.
So if you have a haunt in a city, you can pull customers from the rural areas pretty easily. And it looks like I'm looking at Crystal's monitor. She's fact-checking this. Has about 40,000 people.
Yeah.
Which, for context, is the size of my neighborhood in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Algiers has about 40K.
Yeah.
And it's not a very populated area. So, give you some context. And it's one of, I think, 8 neighborhoods in the city. Mm-hmm. But anyways, so yeah, it's a fairly small town. But it's also the size of Rapid City, and Ellie's now going to beat me up again.
We're not live right now, so she will go back and listen.
Man, apparently I just think 40,000 is a rural amount. But anyways, the point of the matter is, like I said, you can pull people from rural areas into cities easier than vice versa. Mm-hmm. And so if you're going to try to get city people to come to a rural area, you got to give them something worth the risk.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that this can do it. Something like this can do it. So, I don't know. I thought this was great, and I'm looking at all these organizations, and it's like, yeah, okay, maybe they only got $1,000, but I bet you Boy Scout Troop number 56 was damn glad for that $1K.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, the Mojave High School got a whole bunch of small ones.
For their clubs, yeah.
For their different clubs.
And the basketball program, the Interact Club. What the fuck is an Interact Club?
I don't know.
Softball, choir, ROTC. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, there's a lot you can do here. And this is also a great way to get your staffing for a charity haunt, because one of the things they did is they broke apart the different sections. The Interact Club apparently took care of the food truck, for example. The basketball program and the baseball program held games. And the ROTC did parking and water sales.
Yeah.
So just, an idea. Just an interesting idea. I really love this article. And it all centered around this giant 10,000 square foot haunted attraction. Yeah, I definitely would make the trip to that if I had been anywhere near that area.
Me too.
All right. Now here we've got an article from BuzzFeed that is, I think, a very interesting one, but we're going to just go over it fairly quickly, I think. But it's entitled, Move Over Wizarding World, These 23 Franchises Deserve Their Own Immersive Experiences by Ken Hanley at BuzzFeed. And basically it lists 23 properties that have not gotten immersive experiences yet. Mm-hmm. Like a haunted house.
Right.
That they think would be ripe. And some of these, I know actually have. I don't think Nightmare Before Christmas has had one yet.
No, they do the makeover at Disney.
Yeah.
Haunted Mansion for Nightmare Before Christmas, September through December.
Yeah, but the core of the haunt doesn't change.
Right.
I do like the idea of the legendary Monsterverse, like the Godzilla.
That would be awesome.
Godzilla / Gojira, Gamera.
Yeah.
All that stuff. Mothra. That could be fun. Stranger Things actually has had them. They had one at Halloween Horror Nights, actually.
Yeah.
And of course, there were other ones that were little, pop-ups in various cities and so forth. So Stranger Things, they listed here, but it's actually had several. I don't know what they're talking about. Blade Runner would be fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. The other one, the Stephen King universe. Man.
There's a lot to pull from. But, I mean...
But so we've already seen so many haunts, even if they're not calling it it.
Yeah, I wish that they would go to other areas to pull from. But,
hey, we have enough fucking clowns in more ways than one in this industry.
Yeah, but I mean, basically, it looks like the author is trying to get across that
there's untapped property.
Scary.
Yeah.
You can have scary in a family-friendly environment, like Disney.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't see why not. And I mean, I also agree the Conjuring films would be good fodder. I'm not very familiar with them myself, but you could definitely pull from that. Now, Game of Thrones for like a adult wizarding world, that would be sweet. I mean, I did not realize Nightmare Before Elm Street hadn't gotten that treatment. I mean, other than obviously every haunt that rips off Freddy Krueger. Which, once again, there's one of our problems here is like, so many of these icons have been ripped off by haunted attractions.
Yeah.
That it's you feel like it's already happened. Like, I've seen so many Freddys, so many Jasons, so many Pennywises at haunts. It's kind of like, I'm a little bit less excited about the prospect of the real thing. Indiana Jones actually would be a great haunted attraction experience and an easy one to do family friendly. Also be a great escape room fodder too, I think.
It might make a better escape room even.
But yeah, I mean, and of course Alien is one of the ones that's mentioned here. So there's a lot of neat ones in there. But yeah, the point of the article is, there's a lot of fodder out there for more immersive experiences. And even if a lot of these feel overdone to us as haunters, because we have all seen our Freddys and Jasons and all that, they may not have been done officially. Right. And may not have been done to their full capacity. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Neat little listicle there.
Yeah.
Speaking of Freddy.
Exactly. Freddy Krueger's haunted house has just sold for $3 million. This is from the IBTimes.com. And this is the house that the character Nancy lived in.
Yeah, it's by Keith Kaliak. Sorry, Keith, if I butchered your last name.
Yeah, in the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, they have redecorated the inside. I mean,
inside's
it has
totally
been like, it's 40 been years. Since 84.
It's been goddamn near 40 years.
Yeah, so, Yes, they've decorated the inside differently, and they painted the door black instead of red. But it does look like
but
the
house. Exterior looks the exact same.
Yeah.
I recognize the house immediately from the photograph, even before, even I would have recognized immediately even without the headline.
Yeah.
And I'm not, like I said, I'm not a huge Friday the 13th fan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Nightmare on Elm Street. Jesus, Murphy, Jonathan. I just got my horror card revoked. Oh, that's not good. You don't fuck that up. Oh, dude. Dick Kick City. But yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street is not my favorite series. Until, I don't know, I actually, one of the weirdos that enjoyed it more is it got sillier when it went on. It got funnier.
Yeah.
I really did enjoy Game Over and all that stupid shit. I'm here for the stupid shit, basically, is what we've learned. But anyways, so, yeah, but no, it's a neat house, 2,700 square feet. It was built in 1919.
Yeah.
And then they go through the usual pitch of walnut floors. I'm like, just call it the fucking Freddy Krueger house and walk away.
Yeah. But because of its, notoriety, it's 98% more expensive than the other houses around it.
Yeah. That's... So, kids, lesson for you now. If anyone ever walks up to you and says, hey, we would like to use your house or the exterior house in our horror movie, let them.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's probably the best thing you'll ever do for your property value.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, new granite countertops will not add 98% value.
No.
Jesus, Murphy. 98%?
Yeah.
Fuck me. Why couldn't they just get an even 100?
I don't know.
It's the Betty White problem all over again. Just get it to 100. Oh, God. Too soon. Yeah. All right, but no, this house was, it's a beautiful house, though, and like I said, even without prompting from the headline, I would have easily recognized it. Mm-hmm. It's just that iconic. You can't miss it, really. Well, finally, for the news day, they told you it wasn't the busiest news week. Mm-hmm. Studio 666 trailer is dropped, featuring the Foo Fighters as they battle supernatural forces in a haunted house comedy. This is by Etten Vlessing at the Hollywood Reporter, one of my favorite publications. Basically, Open Road Films is teasing this upcoming horror movie where the band members of the Foo Fighters are actually fighting Foo.
Yes, exactly.
They're fighting Foo. They're living up to their band name for the first fucking time in 30 fucking years. Just saying, Dave Grohl, we seen you. Not doing a lot of Foo fighting, man. Kind of getting pissed off about it. Too busy looking like the drummer from Nirvana.
God.
The resemblance is uncanny, I tell you, though.
Yeah.
But anyways, basically, they move into an Encino mansion that's steeped in gory, well, quote-unquote, gory rock and roll history to record a new album.
Yeah.
Which that sounds like something rockers would do.
It does. I've seen the Queen documentary.
Yeah, rockers do some weird shit to record albums.
Yeah. So, but they move in, and then Grohl finds himself grappling with supernatural forces as...
They threaten both them physically, and of course, even worse, the album.
Yes.
I actually like the Foo Fighters, so I'm actually doubly interested in this. It'll be opening up in theaters come February. I'll probably wait for it to be streaming, but this is still a neat experience. I actually watched the trailer. It's very cool, and it looks like a lot of fun.
It does. It looks like it's going to be silly and fun. So. And
as we already discussed, I like my horror with a little bit of silly and a lot of silly in it sometimes. Mm-hmm. I do like my stupid horror.
Really?
Yeah.
What was that other channel we had at one point?
Yeah, garbage horror.
Yeah.
Though I gotta say, some of the best garbage horrors were not comedy horrors.
Right.
They were ones that actually were playing it straight.
'Cause they took themselves so earnestly. They tried so hard to make a serious movie.
Like, I really enjoyed It's My Party and I'll Die If I Want To.
Yeah.
As an actual fucking film.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
It was a really good movie, and I liked that the characters acted, like, remotely rationally in it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, not perfect. Let's get it twisted. But compared to horror movie logic, they were doing pretty good. They were at least getting C's.
Yeah.
So that was a really good film. I remember that one. Of course, the special effects throughout it were just great because it was two Savini school graduates wanting to show off what they learned on practical effects and just going nuts. It's a lot of fun. We did the garbage horror thing. I like my silly horror, and I don't know.
You've been a Misty forever.
And I've been at Misty Science Theater 3000 for life. I'm literally recording this next to 3 MST3K Funko Pops. And over to your side, we have the Mystery Science Theater 3000 Globe and the We've Got Movie sign replica prop that sits on my desk. And on my wall above me, the Mads, Trace Bio and Frank Conniff, signed an autograph of them as Dr. Forrester and TV's Frank.
Yeah.
Got to meet them when they came to New Orleans, and that was awesome.
It was.
That was a lot of fun. A bit of a Misty, you might say.
A little bit.
Now I need my life-size Tom Servo.
Okay.
I'll work on that. But anyways, on that note, everyone, thank you very much for spending the past 45 minutes or so with us. We greatly appreciate your time. Like I said, not the busiest news week, but thank you all for responding to the question of the week and giving us a lot of neat stuff to talk about there.
Yeah.
I really do love it when the question of the week takes off like that and we get a chance to really sink our teeth back into the topic. Plane crash. That would be fucking awesome. I'm sorry, I'm still hung up on that.
I wonder if it was just part of the scene, like for the cue, or if it was the actual haunt. Like if the plane crash was the haunt, and instead of zombies, you have that could be like triggering too.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, we've seen bus crashes, we've seen car crashes at haunts, or simulated ones, obviously, or the aftermaths of them.
Well, although
the wreckage.
Although I think that at Raven's Grin Inn, Jim.
No, there was nothing simulated about that one.
No, Jim has a car on premises that he had crashed as a teenager.
Well, he did not do the crashing. He was the one that was hit.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, if I recall the story correctly,
he was in a crash.
He was involved in a crash, and he has the actual wreckage of the vehicle, and it looks gnarly. Especially given when it happened, I'm surprised. Like, people walk away from insane car crashes all the time these days.
Yeah.
That one is like, whoa.
There was just enough metal between them, I guess.
Anyways, on that note, though, thank you very much for joining us. Car Crash Weekly. No. Haunt Weekly. Definitely check out all of our other locations. HauntWeekly.com, Haunt Weekly on Twitter, Haunt Weekly on Facebook, YouTube.com/Haunt Weekly is the YouTube channel. Once again, a great way to access our archives. And when we mention an episode, that's where I would absolutely head, because who knows what's stored in iTunes these days. Even I have no control over that. I pay someone else to handle it. When we do live events, Facebook.com/HauntWeekly, we will be announcing them there. We are hoping to get back into the studio once this fucking weather stops being a little crazy.
Yeah, well, the headline today on the news was yo-yo weather.
Yeah, and that is the most apt. I mean, someone made the joke, Louisiana weather's just calling out Powerball lottery numbers. And I believe it.
Yeah.
78, 26, 42. So, Jesus, Murphy. Anyways, thank you all for joining us, and we will see you all next week.